Hey, what's going on everybody? Hideous Thoughts here, coming at you with another Black Desert Online video for console. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at how you can get a tier 4 Ferry. Before we get into that, guys, make sure you give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. We're making our way to 1,000 subs on the channel. Guys, 86% of the people watching my videos aren't subscribed, so make sure you go ahead and do that. And hit that bell button so you get notified when I drop future videos for Black Desert console. Alright, but enough about that. Let's get into the video on how you can get a tier 4 Ferry. Now, when you talk about ferries, a lot of people don't actually know what the ferries are and how they work. So basically, once you reach level 52, you get access to do a quest where you can come here into the Silver Temple. And if you don't know where that is, I'm just going to show you really quickly. It's right here, Silver Temple. You've got Soldier's Grave just across the river there, and Heidel right there. So it's kind of like on the way to Altanova, just out of Heidel, Silver Temple. So you want to come here. Once you're level 52, you get to do a quest, and she's going to give you... You can basically get yourself a ferry through the quest. Now, let's say that the ferry that you want isn't a good one, you want to get another one. So how do you do that? Right, well, I'm about to show you. There's 4 different types of ferries that you can get, and they vary in tier and what the ferry is capable of doing. So the first one is called a Faint Ferry, and it's a tier 1, and it can go up to 10 levels and it can get 2 skills. The second one is called a Glimmering, and it's a tier 2, and it can go up to level 20 with 3 skills. The third one is a Brilliant, which is the one that I've got right now. So if I go into, let me come down here into the function and ferry. So you can see mine here is a Brilliant, brilliantly shining. I'm going to explain to you what the shining's all about in a second. But basically with the Brilliant, you can go up to level 30, and that allows you to get 4 skills, including the gift. So all of them get the gift, which gives you +1 luck, and then you get 3 other skills that you can learn through levels. And the last one is called a Radiant. It's the best one. It's a tier 4 ferry. You can go up to level 40, and it can get 5 skills, including that gift. Okay, so they all start, every single ferry starts with that gift, the luck +1. And it learns a new skill, a random skill, every 10 levels. The skills can be reset, and you can kind of manipulate the skills you want to learn through the Pearl Shop. If I come into the shop here, I'll just show you guys really quickly. So we're going to come down to, which one is it? Travel Aid and Ferry. So you can use the Thayer's Orb to reset ferry skills, and there's an item here called Ornat's Dark Honey Wine as well that you can use to level your ferry. So just remember that item, guys, because we're going to talk about that in a second. So how do you get a ferry if you're not happy with the one that you've got? Well, you can get these items here called Layla's Pedal. Now, I mostly just get these from AFK fishing overnight. I get a fair few of them. You can get them from grinding. They drop from killing monsters and stuff like that, and other life skills as well. But I mostly just get them from my AFK fishing overnight. So I've got 24 of them now. What you want to do is you want to come here and you want to speak to Thea, and she's going to have a quest for you. This is a repeatable quest that you can do over and over again. And basically, what you need to do is you need to give her 2 Layla's Petals, and she's going to give you a ferry. We don't know what ferry it is yet. Basically what she gives us is this item here called the Sealed Fairy Wings. You can sell these for 1,000,000 silver each, but I recommend just not really selling them, just holding on to them. Unless you don't need to. I mean, you can if you want. If you've already got a tier 4 ferry, sure, go ahead and sell them. But basically what we're going to do is I'm just going to keep doing this quest over and over again until all of those Layla's Petals are gone. Alright guys, so you can see we've got all of our Sealed Fairy Wings now. So what do we do with these? Well, basically what we're going to do is we're just going to click on them, and we can come down here to open continuously, and it's going to give us an RNG chance of getting a different type of ferry. So let's go ahead and get all these ferries and see what we got. All right, guys. So I've been doing this for a while, and the reason why I thought it'd be a good idea to do this video is because I've been trying to get a Radiant Fairy for a long time, and I've been stuck getting Glimmerings every time. I just got a Radiant, guys. I just got myself a tier 4 Fairy. So anyways, I'm going to continue. I'm going to show you how you can get one, because this is it's a rare drop, the Radiant. So don't expect to get one of those every time. I'm going to continue showing this in case you can't get a Radiant. You've got a tier 3 Fairy and you want to know how to level it to tier 4. So we're gonna pretend like I didn't get that Radiant right there. Now, basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna see different ones. So we've got the Faint that I told you. We've got Faint and Glimmering. Okay, so we got Faint and Glimmering. So the Glimmering, remember, is a tier 2, and the Faint is a tier 1. Now, we don't want to keep the Faints, and we don't really want to keep the Glimmerings. I probably would keep. I would keep a Brilliant Fairy. That would be the one that I would say is the one you want to keep. Now, let's say we don't want to keep them. So what do we do with them once we've got these fairies and we don't know what to do with them? Well, we can come over here and we can exchange them for Sweet Honey Wine. Now, you can see as well, I'm going to explain to you quickly what these, the Joyful and the Prim. You can see Joyful, Meticulous, Prim, Aloof, Serene. So basically what that is it's just basically, if you get a skill, there's a skill that you can get with your fairy, and it's called Morning Star. If you guys know these, I've got this item here, the Eternatus Firefly. Basically what the Eternatus Firefly does, it's like a light, it lights up dark areas so you can see in the dark. And think of this skill Morning Star like a permanent Eternatus Firefly. Well, all of those the Joyful, Meticulous, Prim, Aloof, Serene, basically what they are is they're just different colors of that light. So that's basically all of that means. So the Meticulous is a green, the Joyful is an orange, the Aloof is blue, the Prim is pink, and the Serene is like a green yellow kind of color. Alright, so that's all of that means. But anyways, guys, so what we're going to do is we don't need these Faint Fairies, so we're just going to hand these in for Sweet Honey Wine. And the Sweet Honey Wine is the item that you're going to need to go from tier 3 to tier 4. Go down the list, make sure we've got all of them. And we're not going to hand in this Radiant one here, but you can see you get 10 Sweet Honey Wines for that, whereas you get 6 for the Brilliant, 3 for the Glimmering, and 1 for the Faint. Alright, so now we've got a bunch of Sweet Honey Wines in our inventory. I've got a few more in a storage nearby, so I'm going to go ahead and collect all those, and then we're going to continue on with the video. Alright guys, so here we are. So I've got all that Sweet Honey Wine in my inventory now. Let's talk about what you need to do before you try and upgrade the tier of your fairy. So basically what you need to do is you need to level your fairy. So your level, your fairy will start at level 1, and it's going to go up to either level 10, level 20, level 30, or level 40, depending on what your fairy is, the tier of your fairy. So there's two ways that there's actually 3 ways. There's the ways that you can level up your fairy is you can give your fairy Sweet Honey Wine, and that's going to boost the percentage of your fairy's XP, and it's going to help it level up. These can be quite expensive, so it's not something that I would say go and just feed it all of the Sweet Honey Wine, because it does add up. The next way that you can do it is with an item called the Hornets, the one that we saw before in here, the Hornets Dark Honey Wine. So that gives even more XP than the Sweet Honey Wine, but it's 150 pearls each, and it can get quite expensive. Now, the other way that you can level up your fairy is by giving it green armor. So the most common one is things like Rakaba. You can feed it green armor, and that's going to give your fairy XP. So if you're grinding in areas like Schultz Guard or Susan's, and you're getting like lots of this green gear, and it's weighing you down, you can just feed it to your fairy if you want to. And yeah, you're going to get less XP than the Sweet Honey Wine, but it's free. So if you're grinding a lot of these areas and you're getting all this gear and you just don't really have anything to do with it, feed it to your fairy, and that's going to help you level up your fairy. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't really bother doing that unless you had a tier 3 fairy. I wouldn't really keep anything less than a tier 3. It's just not really worth it to me, because then you're going to go through the leveling process, and then you're either going to get another one, a different fairy, a better fairy, or you're going to have to level it, and it's like upgrade the tier. It's not really something that I would recommend doing. So let's say that you've got your tier 3 fairy, you've got your brilliant fairy, and you want to increase it to a tier 4. Well, you need to level it to level 30 with green armor or the Sweet Honey Wine. And once you've done that, once your fairy is at level 30, and you're going to come into the fairy menu, what we're going to do is we're going to hold L2 and triangle, and we're going to go into sprouting. Now, to do this, if you want to increase the level, upgrade the tier of your fairy, if you had a faint fairy, a tier 1, you're going to need 45 Sweet Honey Wine, which is going to give you a 100% chance of success, or 3 Ornat's Dark Honey Wine. If you've got a Glimmering, a tier 2, you're going to need 150 Sweet Honey Wine, or 10 Ornat's Dark Honey Wine for a 100 chance of success. And if you've got a tier 3, a Brilliant Fairy, you're going to need 400 Sweet Honey Wine, or 25 Ornat's Dark Honey Wine. And that's going to give you a 100% chance of success. Now guys, you can do it with less. You don't need to do it with 100% chance. You can do it with 70, 80, 90%, whatever you feel comfortable doing it with. It's up to you. Just bear in mind that if you fail, you lose the item. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to throw in the whole 400. All for the love of YouTube, guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw in the whole 400. And I'm going to get that 100% chance of success. So you can see the success rate going up as you're increasing it. A lot of people will do this with around 300, 350 kind of thing. And so you don't really need to go to 400. But I'm just going to do it just for you guys. So 100% success rate. We're going to go to start. And it's going to say all skills that are learned will be reset. So you're going to reset all of your skills. We're going to go continue sprouting. Sprouting was successful. Obviously, we had that 100% chance of success. And now you can see we've got our Radiantly Shining level 1 tier 4 fairy. So guys, this is going to go up into, it's going to go to level 10. We're going to learn a skill. Then it's going to go 20, we're going to learn a skill, 30, we're going to learn a skill, and 40, we're going to learn a skill. If you want to reset the skills, you're going to need that the Thayer's Orb. So I'll go back into the Pearl Shop. Going to come down here into the Fairy, and we're going to see the Thayer's Orb. So these are 250 pearls each, and I believe actually now they've also added these into the loyalty store. So let's just go ahead and just quickly have a look in the loyalties. So there you go, guys. So they're 500 loyalties each. So bear in mind you get 200 loyalties for free every day, and these are 500 loyalties each. So if your fairy has one skill, it's going to cost you 1 orb to reset. If your fairy has 2 skills, it's going to cost you 2 orbs. 3 skills is 3 orbs, and 4 skills is 4 orbs. So bear in mind, guys, when you're doing this, if you're not happy with the skill that you have, let's say you learned your first skill, and the skill that you want is the Miraculous Cheer. Miraculous Cheer is the skill that gives you auto consumption of potions. Now the one that you want is Miraculous Cheer 5 because it's got the smallest cooldown. It's got a 2-second cooldown. It's the best one for you to have. So let's say the first skill that you're going to try and get is Miraculous Cheer, and then you end up with some skill like Tingling Breath, which gives you underwater breathing for an additional up to 30 seconds, right? But that's not the one that you want. You want to have Miraculous Cheer. So what you would do is as soon as you've learned that skill, you're going to go ahead and get your orbs, and you're going to reset that, and you're going to keep resetting it until you get the Miraculous Cheer 5. This is the cheapest way to do it. You don't want to be trying to reset skills if you've got all 4 skills and you don't want any of them, because that's just going to cost you too much in these orbs. If you've got all of them skills and you don't want any of them, don't try and use the orbs to reset them all. Just come down here, press triangle. You can go to rebirth, and you can reset the growth. It'll take it all the way back to level 1. You lose all your skills and you can just start again. That's going to be the cheapest way for you to do it. If you've got all of your skills and you don't want any of them, you want to swap them around. So that's how you change skills, using the orbs, and also rebirthing if you are not happy with the skills that you have. So if you guys manage to get yourself a tier 4 fairy, these are the best skills that I recommend you use. First one would be Miraculous Cheer 5, which gives you the auto consumption of potions for a 2-second cooldown. The second skill that I recommend you get would be Fairy's Tier 4, which gives you the instant resurrection without death penalty and a cooldown of 1 hour. Just to put that into comparison for you guys, the Fairy's Tier 1 has a 12-hour cooldown. So to be able to use that every 1 hour, or every other hour, is really good. So the next best skill that I recommend you go for is Feathery Steps 5, which gives you a weight penalty reduction up to 125%, which is massive, guys. And then the other skill is going to be entirely up to you. Whether you want that underwater breathing, so the Tingling Breath 5 gives you underwater breathing for 30 seconds, or you can get Inexhaustible Well 5, which gives you the auto consumption of purified water and star anise. So if you run around the desert a lot, for console, that's not really relevant right now because we don't have desert debuffs. But that's something for you to consider. The other one that you can get is the Morning Star if you guys want to have that permanent nightlight just to light up your dark areas. It's probably one that personally I'm going to be going for, is that Morning Star. So guys, that's it. That's how you go about getting yourself a tier 4 fairy. Remember, you need the Sweet Honey Wine or the Ornat's Dark Wine, depending on whether you want to buy it or not. If you want it for free, go for the Sweet Honey Wine. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get it, to acquire it, but it is definitely a viable option for you. Remember, you can level your fairy all the way up to max level with green armor, and that's something that I definitely recommend you doing, because you need to get it to max level before you can increase that fairy tier. And guys, now you know as well what are the best skills for your fairy to have. So keep that in mind for when you need to get those in particular skills for your fairy. Alright guys, but that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of y'all. I'll see you in the next one.